Of course, this is really the first serious cross country being organised in an open way so that a number of people can come. All other cross countries were qualification events, as you probably know. So this is the first one to kind of open cross country to the public, not just athletes, but even to the general public to appreciate cross country. And the way cross country is structured here, it's very spectator friendly for kids, for adults, for athletic enthusiasts. And I think that's where it has scored. And all levels, we see here kids from a very young age competing, experiencing the atmosphere, and then of course they graduate through the programs here. Now this of course is just one of the areas of exposure for young people, and of course we are talking mostly about elite athletes who have come through the system, down through the years, not just the winner today, Cornelius Kemboy. He's somebody who won last year, he wins again this year, and of course he's somebody who, and for young people, even like Cornelius, who hasn't maybe yet made a big impact on the international scene, a win here is always a confidence boost. And that's very often what you have to instill in athletes when they're transitioning from being maybe younger athletes or junior athletes into the senior ranks. Some are good, but they lack that bit of exposure and confidence. And today's meet is a fantastic confidence builder. To win here is special. To win here means he can go out and mix with any company in the world and compete formidably, and that's how I see this kind of a meet. It's a confidence building system and way of helping our young athletes. And I think also, of course, many of the young athletes and many of the successful athletes now who have gone on, I'm sure Faith Kipyegon, Petrus Chebet, people like that, Eliud Kipchoge even himself, going way back, they all experienced their first real competitive races here in our Discovery, and I think that's the role it has played. And of course, cross country has a great advantage that it launches track athletes and it launches road athletes. It's kind of the meeting point of road and track. So whether you're a track runner like Cornelius or you're a marathon runner like Petrus Chebet or even Eliud Kipchoge, you can run here. So it's really the point where they all pit their abilities against each other. Otherwise they run separately when they're in their various competitions, and they train separately. And people also use this competition as part of their training season. We're still in the end of January. We've cross country coming up, we have track coming up, and we have of course some prestigious road races coming up. So this is where they all come to try to gauge how their training is going and see how the opposition is doing as well. You run against, because sometimes you're training in your own little world, but you don't get a chance to see how others are progressing in other training programs and other camps. So that's why it's as much confidence boost as well, because you see what others are doing. You can compare yourself to the best. So that's how I see such a competition and the value it has in our whole athletics forum, and that's why it's so important that I think athletes come to a place like this and experience such an environment, and even a little bit of pressure. There's pressure on you always, to win every competition is the pressure situation. So I think it also helps you to handle pressure.
Now, finally, you look at...
In a couple of weeks' time, I forget exactly the date, we'll have our national cross country here. And of course, we had it some years ago as well, of course. And this is a fantastic course. And of course, Eldoret is an athletic town, so you can expect a huge support and a huge interest in the national cross country. And of course also, now the course is generally flat, so you have to look at that. Now, not all courses of course are flat. Cross country can be varied depending on where it's run, but of course I don't think you should prepare an athlete for any one particular course. You might for a major final, but otherwise your athletes have to be very flexible. You go out to run a marathon or you go out to run a cross country, the type of course you run on is going to vary from place to place. So there's no point in just preparing the athlete exclusively for one course. He might perform well on one course, but not necessarily, when he goes to another situation, another place. So I think a good athlete has to be an all-rounder. He has to be prepared to face any challenge, any situation, any amount of pressure, and of course any type of a course, or even any stage of a competition. You know, whether it's finals or semi-finals or Olympic finals or World Cross Country finals. You know, you have to have your athlete prepared to cut right across the various challenges that they face.
It's important that you was able to go on for 34 years. This time will be maybe around 400 altogether, but my dream is to teach to the young boy what is running for the future, because this will be the future generation. I am very happy that are coming many young boys. From Discovery, we select many athletes that was Olympic champion, world record. So it's working because it's a joke for the young boys, and they can understand what will be the future in running. Kenya is a very important country for running, and we need more and more athletes. Now we're around many companies, not only Nike, so many young can go in the training camp to develop the talent. So I am very happy about.
Eldoret Sports Club for the Discovery 34th edition since it started. And we want to thank those who came up with this idea, with this initiative, and it has continued all the way. We also want to thank those who have sponsored this event up to where we are today, because it could not continue without the sponsors, without all of us. I also the people from around this region and the athletes particularly, because since that time, 1991 up to today, athletes have been coming to run, and the numbers have been going up every now and then, and the standards have been going up and up. It's been going very high, and this is what we need to do. And so let us all support events like this, because this is what prepares our athletes to go for other championships, to go for other competitions, even outside this country. So we have, we in Athletics Kenya, we released our calendar as part of the preparations for the events of this year. And we released our calendar last year in October, and we called that calendar Road to Tokyo. Why Tokyo? Because our World Athletic Championships this year in September is going to be held in Tokyo, Japan. And so that is the major event that we are preparing to have. But we have got other events that are coming up before that time. We have got in the next 2 months, in March, we have got the indoor championships in Nanjing in China. We also need to prepare that. Immediately after that, in May this year, we have got the World Relays in Guangzhou in China again. Then in July, we have got the African under 18 and under 20 championships in Algeria.
What we are doing now is we want to make sure that we have a curriculum in primary schools, secondary schools, all the way to universities, so that now the athletes and the kids are taught together the dangers of consuming substances which is not good for our health and also for competition. So this is a project that has seen its success. What we have now in Athletics Kenya is to ensure that as the athletes develop, as they grow, they understand what they need to do, what they don't have to do, so that they can develop and have their own integrity as they grow to be champions in the future.